Paolo, Florianopolis, Andre, who has muted his microphone, Carla, Katia, Crystal, Eliane, Elko, Jeff, and Ulysses, and Yatra. Welcome everyone to the bridge. My name is Jörn Schmidt. I'm a volunteer here in Foster Iguazu. I'm volunteer of ELTHECT, ISIC, and CAX. And it's a pleasure to be here, the monitor for this bridge on the 18th of December. Just to let you know, as all meetings from the bridge, we will record the meeting. So the recording has started. You can see it there on the top, on the right side, the blinking red button. If someone wants to speak, we have also a chat on the right side. There is chat written. So when you want to write something down, you can do it. Feel free. When you want to say something, also just wink in the camera, but we only have 9 cameras on the screen, so maybe it's better to chat that you have an idea or you want to say something, and then Paolo can open the microphone. Well, today we have 2 people for our meeting who has prepared something. This is Eliane. Welcome, Eliane. And this is Carla. So we will start with the project of ELTHECT. And Eliane, please go ahead. She had prepared some slides for us, and then we can go into the debate. The time will be 40 minutes for you, okay?
Okay, so people, I will share the screen with you and let's get started, right? Well, so we are going to talk about the ELTHECT, and I can say to you that I'm very happy to be here. To be able to present to you this project. Most of you know about it, know a little bit about it, but you don't know details in what has been achieved so far. So let's start with the definition. What is the ELTHECT? It's the English language thesaurus of consensological terminology. That is a compilation of the most relevant technical terms from consensological publications, aiming to provide a reference for further studies, researches, and scientific advances achieved by the science consensology. And it's a project developed within ICNEL, that is in Portuguese, we call it CINEL, International Council of Neologistics and Terminology of Consensology, which is a permanent council of UNICIN. And so, people, how this work started? First, we were working within CINEL. I'm a volunteer of this council since 2005. And we started realizing that it's very much necessary to have works, publications, dictionaries on the terms of consensology. And we already have the DINEL, that is this Dictionary of Neologistics of Consensology, which is a work which has 2,100 terms coined by Dr. Vieira, right? And they are basically the most relevant neologisms that Vieira coined during his life. And this is already dictionarized, if we can put it in this way. And the work is the DINEL. And so we thought, why don't we have a work like that in English? Because we have intermissivists abroad, we have a lot of researchers and teachers, and we don't have a specialized dictionary in English. And we started thinking about that inside the council ICNEL. And of course, that took some time until the intermissivists arrived, and then I had some talks with Jeffrey, and then Jacqueline moved to Brazil, and we started in a small group talking about some criteria to translate terms, and we started thinking about having a dictionary about it. And then I had an opportunity to talk to Dr. Vieira, and we did a project about the ELTHECT, and it had a different name in that time. And this project is very technical because we have a technical guy specialized in lexicography, that is Augusto Freire, who is a volunteer in ICNEL. And Augusto helped us to build a project, real professional one, I think, because we wanted the work to be useful, we didn't want to have rework, to do something and then to have to change everything again, right? And then I presented to Dr. Vieira the idea. That was 3 years ago, in 2013, I spoke to him about it. And just checking, can you listen to me, guys? Are you listening well?
Yes, very clearly.
Oh, that's great. And so when I first spoke to Dr. Vieira, I delivered him the project with all the steps, and he was absolutely happy with that, and said to me, Eliane, this is not a dictionary. I can see it is a thesaurus, and you have to put the equivalent terms in other languages. And then I thought, well, what do you mean, Dr. Vieira? Do you mean that we have to translate terms into Spanish and Italian? And he said, no, not only French and Italian, but not only Spanish and Italian, but in French, in German, in everything you can. Together with the work in English, you should have a line, and in this line, they should put the equivalent term, right? And then I got, well, if I was thinking about it, could be so difficult to do a big work, everything in English, imagine a work with other languages. Wow, that should be so difficult. But every time I got the idea, and I felt a lot of help from the helpers, a lot of inspirations. And every course, every field course I used to take, there was some information about it, good information. And I went to a dynamic, and in the dynamics, the epicenter had an extra-physical consciousness with him, and he gave me some messages saying that, well, you've got help to do the work, go ahead, right? And then we started going ahead, and we formed Jacqueline Cohen. I don't know if Jacqueline is on, but she is one of the coordinators together with me, and we decided to start the project. And together with this, Augusto started developing a system that is called ACERTO. ACERTO is an acronym for Acervo Terminológico Integral da Conscienciologia. That is, it's a system that aims at concentrating all the conscienciological terms in every language. And he developed this system together with Marcus Dung. Marcus is a specialist on that in SOCIM. He works with that professionally, and the system is started being done, and it's been used for the ELTHECT, right? We have other dictionaries inside this Acerto, but one of them is the ELTHECT. And so far, we have a lot done, I think, a great part done, but there is a great part to waiting for revision. And I want to go directly to the terminological file, just for you to know what is this project about, right? So this is what we plan to do, more or less. It's not 100%, how do I say? Maybe there will be some changes in the future, but we have, our aim is to have the term itself. This term, desperto, is it's the translation of desperto, or intrusion free, right? And this term, you can see that there is the separation of syllables, right? And then the grammatical references. In the case, the desperto is a noun and is also an adjective. And you can see the equivalent terms in Portuguese, in Spanish, in French, in Italian, and in German, I hope, because we still don't have a German team, but I'm inviting them officially. If they want to get part of it, that will be great. And so we hope to have the German. But
German is vollständig und permanent. Oh, sorry. The German is vollständig und permanent intrusionsfrei. I have written you an email.
Yes. Yes, I got it in the end, but this was ready, and I left it this way. But you can see that the point is the line here just above are the equivalent terms, and we have the teams for the Spanish translations, the French translations, and the Italian translations. So we are very much happy with that. Well, and then we have, after the term and this information, we have the definition, an example of use, variants, if there are some, in the case of the desperto. We have the variants permanent and free, intrusion free, and an outdated variant that was published before, but it's not recommended their use. This, when we put outdated variant, it's because their use is not recommended. And we have cognates, and these cognates here are going to have their own entry. They are going to be a term inside the dictionary ELTHECT, the thesaurus ELTHECT, right? So this is just an example. There might be changes and corrections, of course. As Jörn said, this is not the best term for intrusion free. And okay. And then, people, what I want to point out for you is that, let's go to slide number 3, right?
Yeah.
This is 2, this is 3. Okay. I just want, can you let me know about the time when it's 2 or 3 minutes to finish? Jörn, please.
Yes. You have 5 more minutes and we go closely to the debate, okay? But we can,
okay.
have 40 minutes at all.
Oh, okay. And so, people, the importance of this work, I think it's very much important, because we are dealing with the terminology. What is terminology? Is the area of study responsible for the specialized language, or the specific terms of a science, right? And conscienciology has a lot of new verpons, new leading edge relative truth, and we need to register them. We don't want them to get lost, right? And then this is very much important, in my opinion, in our opinion. And we consider this a polykarmic work, and it's performed by a group, but not necessarily, it doesn't belong to this group, it belongs to conscientiology. And this group, there are more objectives that are to make these terms accessible to all intermissivist researchers and interested people all over the world, because conscientiology is developing very fast. It has a lot of new scientific production, and we don't want to lose them. We want to organize this knowledge, to have a work of reference to be used by the researchers, right? And it could also be a password for ourselves in our next lives. Why not? It could work as a retro password, right? And the target audience, as I told you, are the intermissivists, researchers, teachers, and other people interested in conscientiology. So I want to introduce you our team of translators. There are some prerequisites to integrate the team. For example, good knowledge in the science conscientiology. We ask for the volunteers of ELTHECT have at least the CP1 and have read the treatises, the main treatises, be proficient in English, preferably be a teacher, or be proficient in other languages, in the case Spanish, German, Italian, French, and others, and have this lexicological and lexicographical profile. It means organization, attention, detailism, knowledge of enumerology technique, and things like that. Commitment and willingness to work in a team, because we work within consensus. We debate the terms, we debate exhaustively the idea, and we research about the term, the morphology, which is the best, which sounds better in English. And we always vote. Our work is made of consensus. And we have people, we have the consultants, because within the group we have a lot of people, but so far we have just officially, we have Jacqueline, who is a native speaker, Liliana is near native speaker, and we have Jeffrey, who is a consultant. So we have many times we consult Jeffrey, and we hope to keep on working even more and more with him, because he has a lot of experience in translations, and he's a teacher, and we always are consulting his opinions about translations, and we come to consensus. And let me see, here is the official team today, right? You can see we have 16 volunteers. Some volunteers have more than one language and are dealing with specific tasks within these languages, and we are all very much we are far from each other. Most of them are far, but we are very much connected energetically, and the people are keeping the work running. So this is the terminological file. And achievements, what have we done so far? We have compiled all the conscientiological glossaries in English, and the terms from DINEL, right? So far we have inserted and translated 1,680 terms. We have compiled terms from the treatises, and some terms from the encyclopedia. These terms are 420 terms. They were all translated by André Moreto, our volunteer in São Paulo, and they are being reviewed. And we have a total of 2,100 terms translated into English so far, and being reviewed, of course. And we have around 1,000 terms into Spanish and 1,000 terms into French. Around, okay? It's not this. This is not an exact term. And we consider the first stage done. We are in the second stage we are asking the ICs, the consensus-centric institutions, to provide their own glossaries and definitions, because some of these definitions are going to be included, the basic of that specialty. And we have to also to define and translate some information on consensology. Or for example, binomia, what is a binomia, a trinomia, a trivocabular megatocene, an example of the dictionary of arguments of consensology, things that might be useful for the people abroad to know. We are working and reviewing all the terminological items carefully, and in the last, in the end, we are going to review everything. We are already reviewing things. We are doing and reviewing. And the deadline for the first printed revision is the end of 2017. So it's a lot of work to be done. And that's it, guys. I think, well, it's end. It's finished.
Thank you very much. Very impressive, the ELTHECT project. I had the opportunity that you presented for me for a while, and I think it's a very good tool to use. So can you please tell the people, for example, from Germany or from languages who are not working with ELTHECT yet, how can they start the project? Because when we see we have the terms itself being translated, the definitions, then more informations. It's a lot of work when for just one term. How do you work for this? When you make this 2,100, you started by A and you finished by Z, or how do you make it?
Yeah, we started. We have the Asserto system, and then Marcos, Dung, and Augusto inserted all the DNL at once, right? And we shared the letters. So we shared among the volunteers. So some volunteers were started doing letter A, and others B, C, D, and so on and so forth. And then we saw that some volunteers were very fast. They had more time to translate, but each one in its rhythm started translating. And then we started separately. We decided to work in Google Drive sheets, Google Drive worksheets. For the equivalent terms. So the Spanish group is working nowadays in a Google worksheet plan, right? And the same is happening with the French guys and with the Italian. They have separate ones, and they work and come to their debates and consensus. And after, in the end, we are going to insert the translations in a specific field in this Asserto system. And so we have many things happening at the same time with different groups.
Okay. Just by the way, can you drop the stop sharing the screen button?
Sure. Stop sharing. Okay, thank you. And then and you asked another question, Jörn, about if there is someone interested in participating. So just
Yes, I just want to know how does you start to see how does it work when you are in Texas. Now we have the first part and 2,100 terms. That's a lot of work. But for me, it's interesting. Yeah. How does it start? You can see you have someone has the A, someone for another letter, and so you started. And when I understand right, you can work all online at the same time. So it's not important to be in the same room. You work on the internet, right?
Yes, we work through the internet. We have several teams working in different tasks. And we usually ask the volunteer to choose what he wants to do. We have a lot of tasks, and we show them to the volunteer and said, well, what would you like to do now? What do you feel like working now? And this is working. So we have people who are reviewing, others who are translating, others who are working in the cognates and variants. And so far it's working. And now we want to have some improvements in the system, in the Acerto system, so that we can print reports. For example, to print the whole letter A, to separate things. And we are asking Augusto and Marcus Dung to provide us with these tools to be able to print reports. And for example, wow, there is a lot of things that are based on detailism when we work in a dictionary. And we in fact, we have a good team. If you ask me, well, what would you need now in terms of volunteering? I think I would say we would like very much to have some people from the German language participating on this project. And these people could participate through, in the beginning, in the Google Drive plan, making their translations, only the terms. You don't need to translate the definitions, because the equivalent term will be enough for this. And that's it. Now I'm open for questions, guys. What do you think? Did you like the project?
Hello, Eliane.
Suggestions?
Very good
Hi,
lecture,
Paulo.
congratulations. And I do have a question for you. You mentioned that you already translated 420 terms of encyclopedia, right? And my question is, how did you choose them? I mean, what was the criterion to select them?
Okay. 2,100 terms, right? And they are not.
I mean the encyclopedia terms. You mentioned
yes,
420,
that's
right?
A great question. Yeah, 420, yes, from the encyclopedia. We asked Encyclosapiens to select for us. Which terms? The basic ones, the most relevant, that were considered basic and which might influence researchers, might be more used by researchers. And they have this broader view of which terms are more basic and more used by everyone. And they selected for us. And now I have to have another meeting with them and say if there are some others, we can add some terms. I think the ELTHECT can reach to almost 3,000 terms, the ELTHECT. So far we have 2,100 translated, okay? But there are some terms from DINEL, there are some others from the consensus-centric institutions. I think I would guess for us not to take the whole life producing a thesaurus, for us to hurry things up in a good sense, not doing this work eternally. I think we could reach 2,500 terms in total and add some others from selected by Encyclosapiens. We really trust on their expertise in the varieties.
Very good, thank you, Eliane.
That's it.
Eliane, I think that is wonderful. This idea is excellent, because when I was preparing my presentation for today, I had a lot of doubts about the term, for instance, pensionograma. I kind of translated, and then I check it out with Liliana Alexandre. With you also, right, the mega pensionity vocabular. So how do we translate these things? We have an idea, but it's just so hard. For instance, I want to talk about the vagulismo energético. How can we translate this?
Yeah.
Could say energetic trash, but it's not really trash. So it's really important. This work is really important, because if we don't choose the right word, it's a completely different meaning, right? That will not
Yes.
have that energy, will not come with that energy. So it's amazing.
Yes, and
Really, I think it's very
yes,
important.
I think it is, Carla. And what I want to point out is that when we deal with the science, the best thing for the science and for the people who get benefits from it is to have a consensus in the translations. Because we can translate a term, for example, energetic, vagulismo energético, né? There are translation that is being used that is energetic rubbish, but we have a doubt if we could also have other translations. For example, energetic knick-knackism. And then we have to come to a consensus, which one is the official. And so this is the most difficult part, I think. It's not translating. There are two things that are difficult, is to come to consensus within the group, because we don't have just one user. We have English users from all over, and they have British English, some have American English, and other kinds of English, because English language has a lot, is spoken all over. And so coming to a consensus is very important, and it's difficult. And we have sometimes to vote an open hand of our opinion for a better opinion, or for the opinion of the group. And what else? What I can say to you also, Carla, is that we have produced a glossary that has 500 terms. And this glossary was done, we had a compilation of all the glossaries existing in consensology. And as the ELTHECT is much broader and would take longer to be ready, we decided to build a glossary. And this glossary is done. And we want to publish it, but it's being reviewed. It's in the revision phases. And it will have all these terms, the 500 the most basic, let's put it this way, right? And I hope it is very soon reviewed and published, because then people like us that are trying to help in the internationalization of consensology will have a tool of reference. And before the ELTHECT, we don't need to wait until the end of next year. We want to have it ready in the beginning of the year. Let's cross our fingers to have this as soon as we can.
Good. And then in Spanish also, because in Spanish there is a lot of like the Mexican. It's only one language, Spanish, but they have different terms, like in Argentina, in South America, and then in Central America, then in Spain. So it's really interesting also to see how in Spanish it's also is really, even though it's close to Portuguese, but we make a lot of mistakes and confusion to think that it's just because it's so close to Portuguese, we just change a little bit and we are speaking Spanish, and we are not.
Carla, it's true. In fact, this works that we are doing, the glossary with 500 terms and the ELTHECT with 200 and 500 terms, our intention is that they are an inspiration and a model for the other languages, for example, Spanish. Because if we work in teams and we started consensing the term, the the definitions and all the rest will come naturally. It's part of the process. And we can have other thesauruses. I don't know. I think the plural of thesaurus is thesauri. It's from Latin. I'm not so sure. We can have other thesaurus in other idioms, in other languages. And you know that this system called Acerto, it allows the production of all glossaries. And we have already, for example, the people who are dealing with the Spanish language, they have the thesaurus. They are invited and they intend to produce in the future the tecones, that is Tesauro de Conscienciología, de Terminología de Conscienciología en Español. And the French one, they have the Teconfin. I don't know how to pronounce French, but I think I would try like Teconfin. It's the Tesauro de Conscienciología en Français. And they are already in the Acerto. They have space for that. So we only need people to get motivation, get together and start translating. If we have a model ready, well, that's going to be great and much easier. For example, for us to have a DNEL, the Dictionary of Neologisms, who took 8 years with a great team to be done, we used this. This model was our inspiration. So one work inspires others, and the groups are improving things, amplifying things. That's the way it works. But it's always a teamwork. It doesn't belong to, oh, it's mine, it's ours, it's ours, it's ours. No, it's everyone's. The important is that it is good. It has good quality. That's the main point. And then that is useful and practical, because it doesn't, if there is a thesaurus that, or a dictionary that is very, very complicated and nobody uses, and wow, the thing must be used by the users of the science and of the language.
Is there another question, a last question we can have or idea for that project? Then I have a question. Eliane, when you say you're voting, how is it when you have problems and you think, oh, maybe the root from one word could be from another language? Have you talked with others? So when you have something with a word, for example, bagulha energético, but did you talk to the Spanish team or to the Italian and France, or how does it work? Is it that just one group is translating English and you try to have people from many languages?
No, we don't discuss. For example, we have, if we have a doubt in English, we talk to the specialists in the English language. We discuss among ourselves. What we do is to consult, for example, an expert in Latin language, that is Laurentino. You know Laurentino is a neighbor. We sometimes ask his help for some opinion on the Latin roots. But we consult dictionaries of prefixes and suffixes in English. We consult lingui from the available at the internet, and we do a lot of proposals. We have some, for example, 3 or 4 good options for translating a term, and then we debate which is good, which is not, and why is not good. And then most of the times we come to consensus with this debate. And if we don't come to a consensus, we vote. And the most voted version wins. But people, even though the most important, I want to let you know something that is basic on terminology. What is good? The term that is good is the term that catches among users. You know, sometimes you have a very good translation and proposal, but it doesn't catch. The other one, some other one is going to be more used. Our role within ICNEO is to try to harmonize. we suggest a term, we recommend a term to be the official. But if that term doesn't catch among the users, what are we going to do? Review in the next work and publish it again. It's simple as that. If it doesn't catch, if the user prefers something else, we have to follow what the user does. Sometimes,
so it's a
even though we want to be technical.
Very dynamic system. Many thanks for your impressions and the debate of your ELTHECT project. Maybe you can write in the chat the email contact for people who wants to work on the ELTHECT project.
Sure.
Thanks a lot, Eliane.
Thank you, guys. It was very nice to talk about this. And very soon I will present a verbete. And I will put my email, but you can also send an email to Jacqueline Cohen. Right? This is my email. Thank you very much, guys.
Yes, thank you. So now we come to the second presentation. Carla has prepared something about self-organization, and I give now the microphone to Carla to this item, self-organization.
Hello everyone. So my name is Carla. I am a volunteer of Euthanasia here in the United States. And when Paulo invited me to talk about a topic here, I didn't have a topic. I like everything about conscientiology, as like most of the people, but I didn't have I don't have a specialty like praxis or something like that. But I started Penta, and during one session of Penta, I was thinking about how can I qualify my assistance, and it came by the end of the section came to my mind about organization, and then I thought, well, I am kind of, compared with me in the past, I am much more organized now than I was before. But still, I need to get better in some aspects. And so I thought that was a great opportunity, especially because we are in the end of the year, so people like to do those projects for next year. And so I decided to talk about a little bit about self-organization, also because it's a subject that calls my attention, especially in how we can sometimes have we want to change. We want to change a weak trait, but we don't have the ability to maintain. We start with some motivation. Okay, I'm gonna change this here, and then in a couple of weeks or days or months, we just let it go. And then I started reading about self-organization, and the Encyclopedia of Conscientiology has a lot of information. And I think that this project of Eliane will help a lot for translators to help to translate the tertulias. I noticed in my experience that when I connect more with watching tertulias, I perceive that it's even a technique, I become more organized. I remember about my working more with energy. I remember about paying attention to remember that I'm not just the physical body, right? So it's a project that the project of Eliane can help a lot in translation of books that we really needed, and translation of tertulias. Because I feel like we that speak Portuguese, we are really kind of lucky because we have a lot of tools to improve, right? So I went to Encyclopedia, I found this verbete, consciential self-organization. I also found one that is just self-organization. And then I start reading that the definition that self-organization is the condition of orthocenic continuity to maintain the dynamic balance of the micro-universe and consequent better consciential productivity. So in that moment, I have been studying conscientiology a long time, but I think that when I start reading this specific verbatim, was kind of a aha moment for me, because then I start reading the three vocabulary megatocene. So was one that caught my attention was like, to evolve, eternal self-organization. So to me, it made all the sense that if we don't have organizing a certain level of organization, tocenic mental organization, it's really hard for us to do a great self-research, to improve our parapsychism, because if we don't have a little bit of tocenic self-organization, our thoughts are so confused, make so much noise that we don't perceive those really advanced subtle perceptions, right? Or we don't pay attention to just to small things on our life. Even maturity, I say this, to increase of self-organization or decrease of entropy in the consciousness manifestations is a sign of maturity. And then I start thinking about people that I know that is really like organized, but not just the intraphysical organized, but the mentally, like the mental organized. And then we really see that the person has more maturity, but not just the consciential maturity. The person knows how to have the evolutionary intelligence, know how to prioritize, not just the intraphysical, but pay attention to the energies, to everything. And then when I start reading also the antonym that says self-corruption, Robexis, especially self-corruption, caught so much my attention. Like, it is the lack of organization. I never thought about that. The lack of organization is self-corruption. It's interesting when sometimes we have the information. Everything that I'm reading here, I knew, and you guys know also, but I don't know for you guys, then later we can discuss. But to me, now I can say that I had the information, but I didn't understand before. So in this process was really interesting to perceive how sometimes takes a while, in my case, a little bit of a while, a lot of while for us to recovery comes, to really understand, because sometimes we have the information, okay, this makes all the sense, like when we get to know conscientiology, yes, I understand. But then we can understand, but we have a gap between understanding and having the information and applying in our life, because we have the information, we kind of understand, but kind of we don't comprehend. And then because I cannot comprehend, I cannot apply in my life. I kind of, in organization, specifically in self-organization, I could get it, that I noticed in my case that if I'm studying, if I don't have my desk really organized, everything that I need here to study, if the environment's not organized, it makes harder for me to concentrate and organize. So this I already noticed. But I never thought about my own, I think about my thoughts, but not in a so more deep way. And then I was reading this article in Portuguese in Consciência, with a magazine Consciência called Pensenograma and Tocenogram in English. from Juliana, if I'm not mistaken, Juliana Remedios. And so she was explaining her the process of applying this technique of writing everything about during, I think her case was 3 months, writing all the thoughts that she had it. And I decided to apply this technique also. I couldn't do, as a disorganized person, I couldn't manage to do for 3 months, but I did for 1 month and a half. But I noticed a lot of difference. I noticed that in some cases, in some places, I can manage to maintain my orthodoxity. In another places, it's much more difficult. Really, the working with energies, it's in my case, and I don't know about you guys, but I think most of the people, it's just essential. If I don't really prioritize working with energies, the mental organization just, it's really hard to keep up with especially in some places. So I really noticed that then I started paying attention, like, and I couldn't, when some thoughts would come to my mind, I couldn't cut it. Like, no, I don't want to think about this. I'm going to work with reversional state, or I'm going to think about something. Or in some cases, I would put my phone, a headphone, and listen at tertulia. And it would help me a lot with the tertulia. So, and I noticed another synonym that called my attention is orthodoxity, consciential hygiene, mental discipline, useful routines. And this is, I think, the most difficult aspect sometimes of my case, to keep these useful routines. And I noticed when I try to do a to-do list, but not just an intraphysical to-do list, because I need to call this person, reply these emails, do this, do that. But also I need to remind myself too that I'm not just the intraphysical body. So in to-do list, even I put working with energies, pay attention to the energies on the places where I am, because sometimes life we're so busy, life goes so fast. Especially if I'm concentrating in studying, I don't pay attention to anything. I just become so introphysical. So these useful routines, like paying attention more in the introphysical, in the extraphysical, not just in the introphysical, it's helped me to trying to get more self-organized with my thoughts, and then it's a consequence that I'm trying to get more organized with my thoughts, so I'm more organized with other things. I was looking for this term. Now I don't remember how to say again, the bagulhismo energético. Eliane, how do we say?
You can say energetic knick-knack or
yes.
Energetic rubbish.
Yes, so this energetic knick-knack. So I was thinking about that. I need to look around my house to see what I have here that maybe doesn't have that so good energy. So we start thinking about other things, especially about writing. Since I start watching so much tertulia, again, because I was studying so much, I didn't have time, but now I'm a little bit free, so I started watching at least one tertulia a day, sometimes two, it depends on more. I feel this sense of gratitude to, I need to pay forward. It's not just, and it's not just in Portuguese, because now I live here in the United States, I speak English, so I feel that I have like, it's not an obligation, but it's kind of an obligation of helping with the dissemination of conscientiology outside of Brazil. Oops. And helping, especially with tertulias, because I noticed that since Dr. Vera is not there anymore in the tertulias, the number of people that goes there diminished. I'm not sure about watching online, because maybe people are watching more online. But I noticed that the people that go there to present their verbetes, they are bringing so much new ideas, really new concepts. It's just amazing. And I think that we need to value this more. And to me, it's like I need to help to pass this message in English or Spanish, because here in South Florida, we speak Spanish and English. So in my case, the self-organization now is more concentrated in helping organize my ideas to be able to write, but write in English or Spanish, to help to pass this information, to help others with this the information that I am receiving from all this information from tertulias and from the books and all the articles and everything. So it's my priority now, and what I am doing right now to help with my self-organization. So that maybe could help you guys, and then later I want to hear from you what you guys try to do to keep the self-organization, to even try to modify any not so evolutionary habits that we have. But I noticed that working with energy, it's the first one. So this Pensenogram really helped me to at least to be more aware of, sometimes we don't even notice that we have some patterns of thoughts. So helped me a lot with this, and I didn't notice that I was so mentally disorganized, so also helped me. Again, Penta, I think that Penta was a really thing in my life to realize, to recover calm, to perceive how important self-organization is. And on this entry of consciential self-organization, there is one part where it's from Pilar Alegre, the Verbetti, and she says that self-organization is the third consciential attribute, just behind of will and intentionality. So it's really important if we want to qualify, even in the mega tree vocabulary, megatocene, it says that to order is to qualify. So if we want to qualify our assistance, if we want to be a more efficient mini piece and the maximum mechanism of reurbanization, we need to have self-organization, right? And I think that it's a really broad subject. There is a lot of things that involve self-organization. But if, in my case, if I start with the docenic, with the mental self-organization, I think that is gonna, so it's in parts, right? So this is the priority for me now, and it will help with the others that then, because we never stop, like I said, from that to evolve is to, I forgot here, I have here, to evolve eternal self-organization. Oh, another one here is self-organization means happiness. And it is true, I don't know about you, but when we manage to organize something, even physical, like in our house, when we manage to organize something, we have this feeling of our self-confidence increase, and the helps also with our assertiveness, like when we are more self-organized, so we will be the right person in the right place in the right moment. And this is what we want, right? So it's a priority now for our life to have more self-organization, right? To be able to be accomplish this, to conclude our existential program, right? So I think that it's a really important topic, and then I decided to study also because I noticed that when we start talking more about the subject, so things start, like synchronicities, people start, oh, I read this book about this topic, what do you think? I have these techniques, like I was thinking about this topic, and also in Penta, it came to my mind that, oh, today I need to watch Tertulia, was one day during the week. And I watched Tertulia, and then I decided to watch another one that was a pre-recorder, and it was this girl from, I don't know the city, but she applied the technique of intraphysical immobilization, the one that we don't move for 3 hours. She applied the technique for 30 times. And then she was explaining how this improved her attention, her concentration, mental organization. So it's another technique that sometimes for some people is really hard. I did apply this technique just, I believe, twice, and it was really hard to keep to maintain the body without moving for 3 hours. But it's a really interesting way to help with self-organization. So it's what I'm trying to improve in this moment of my life. It's my not just the self-organization, but more self-organization, but be more specific and be able to write something in specific in English. That is my big goal right now, especially because I'm really not the kind of person that likes to write, not even in Portuguese. I'm not really into writing. So it's a really, how can I say, goal. It's a really challenge things to be able to write something in English. And sometimes we don't perceive that we need to give more credit to ourselves. Because then I was thinking about, oh, I'm not that good. But then I start thinking about, I did write a move review for IEC before I left IEC. I did write a move review for the journal. Then I wrote a verbete. So it's just a lack of prioritization, self-organization, right? And then, but I need also to be able to, not just me, but most of us, be able to acknowledge our small accomplishments, because we don't pay attention, because it's just, sometimes it's just so small. Oh, for instance, energy. Oh, I did perceive something, but it's nothing. I didn't see this physical consciousness in front of me, because this is what we want, right? We want big things. But if we don't give credit to ourselves to the small things, then how can we get the big things? We need to start from the small steps, baby steps, right? So we need to, in order also to self-organization, is not just, okay, I want to write, in my case, but so what I'm gonna write an article. So for now, I'm keeping up like writing my journal, Penta journal, and this has helped me a lot also, because then motivates me to write more. And I was reading the Lexico of Orthopensatas. I'm sorry, I don't know how to translate this in English. And then there was one part where Dr. Vera says that to wake up 4 o'clock in the morning helps us to write. And I just read that thing, and I didn't think about really waking up 4 o'clock in the morning, but I am waking up by myself for no reason, 4 o'clock. In the beginning, I would not get up from the bed and say, no, I'm not going to write right now. But then now I'm doing it like, okay, so if I'm waking up 4 o'clock, I'm going to write a little bit. And in the beginning, nothing came. But now it's starting to coming up some ideas.
Very good. So self-organization with a prioritization of writing, it's a very difficulty. We have talked about writing. Liliane is smiling. Yes, we all have our difficulties. So let's start the debate about the item of self-organization. Who has questions, who has ideas or some experience to share?
Hey, Carla, very good lecture. Congratulations. And you mentioned that self-organization is connected to the mental hygiene, right? That is important to pay attention to what we think about. And in your opinion, what is important to do when we detect thoughts that are not ours? I mean, for you, what is the best way of dealing with those external thoughts?
Better, thank you. Coming back
Okay, so if you have your system not on mute, yeah, please mute it, not talking.
Carla,
Okay,
do you
so
hear me? Do you like
yes.
to repeat the question? Okay,
No,
so
no,
you mentioned the self. Oh, okay, please go ahead.
So in my case, it's working, it's vibrational state, it's stopping and working with energy. Sometimes some thoughts I really can notice those are not mine, really clear. For instance, if it's a little bit like very pessimism, I know that's not mine because I'm a very optimistic person. But sometimes I notice like some thoughts, it's very confusing. I'm not sure if it's mine or not. But then even though I start working with energy, vibrational state, in my case, it's everything. I really notice that if I stop doing the vibrational state, like, oh, I'm just, now I can't stop working, I need to just finish this job, it's really easy, in my case, to get contaminated. So vibrational state, it's really, and then also, like I said before, I now start listening to tertulias every day, and it's really, I love it. I am a tertulia girl. It's really good.
Okay, thank you, Carla.
Carla, I have just found the article of Juliana dos Remédios that is called Pensenograma, Proposta de Método para Estudo da Pensenidade, that is available in the internet. And I will read it because it's something that I need very much is the tocenic organization. I try to organize my environment as much as I can, but I think that we have a lot of options to do during the day, during the week. A lot of options and a lot of demands, you know. For example, we have our professional life, our life in the family, together with our family and our evolutionary duo. And I also have pets, 4 pets that give me some kind of work. And other demands. For example, we want we need to do gym, to study, to go to doctor, to take care of to buy things for the house. It's a lot of things you have to do. And we want to have fun. We want to sometime watch a movie. So how to deal with everything? I started cutting things. Do you think cutting things is a good option for example, try to work on priorities? What do you think about it?
Yes, I noticed. In my case, I noticed that, like you said, we have a lot of things, and if you don't really priority what is more important in this moment, then we get lost. For instance, I know I have a problem with intellectual low self-esteem, and then I was thinking, what can I do to improve this? So I start reading books, not just conscientiology books, but all kinds of books, especially in English, because I want to improve my English. And then I start doing like, I had a time, like I need to read 20 pages every day of this book or a chapter. So this is the priority because I want to be able to improve my English and to feel more confident with my intellectual lower self-esteem. With exercise, I notice also if I don't work with, another thing is like if I am really like manual person. I like everything I need to touch. I'm more manual. I need to do things like even conscientiology. I like to work with energy because it's more like I see the results, right? So applying techniques, I like to apply techniques and things like that. So when I need to do physical exercise, and then when I do the physical exercise, I will also work with energies. I do that exercise the energies, each chakras while walking, and I don't go to the gym. I like to walk on the streets, like. So I notice also if I don't work with a physical, like with my body really, it's also my mind gets cloud. I cannot think properly. So physical exercise, energetic, and prioritize. Like, okay, in my case now, writing, it's the thing. The only thing is like, to me, the things come in Portuguese, and then I need to translate for English. But it is right hard for us to decide what is important, right? What is the priority in this moment, and we need to be able to give attention to everybody, right? So it's complicated, but yes, priority, like in this verbatim, it says that prioritization, it's even a kind of a synonym of self-organization. So it's everything.
Yes, because when we work on priorities and cut some things that are not the most important in that time, I think we have a space on our mind to do the things better and to feel better. Because sometimes when it's too much, like you said, there is a kind of cloudy mind. You get some with the brain fog, like, wow, what am I going to do now? So many things to do. I don't know where to start. So I think it's very nice when we can organize ourselves in these terms that, okay, now I'm going to do this and focus on this because it's what I want to do and it's better for my goals in the moment. Like you said, start reading, start writing. Folks, I think you're going to do an upgrade in your process with these steps or strategies, I would say this way. It's a good strategy, Carla.
And will, it's everything, because if we don't have the will to do it, right, to be able to maintain, because sometimes we started. I remember that I started with this thing about writing. I was reading my notes in 2011. I was already thinking about this, but nothing happened. see how long it takes for us to, I don't know for you guys, but to me it took a while. So I was thinking about, and I even started writing, but I could not maintain to keep this prioritization. So it's will, and then be able, the motivation, right? But I think that has to do with recovery of cons, because maybe that time I wanted, but I couldn't really understand, and maybe I didn't notice how important for assistance. I think this is the principle. That time I was teaching at IAC, so I thought that I was already doing assistance, and now I am here is not giving classes, right, the way we used to do it in IAC. So I feel the necessity. It's important to me to retribute, to pay forward, and then because I'm not teaching, I said, okay, so I need to write. Because then how many people like this pensionogramma, this stenogram in English, how many people would benefit for reading this article? Or the verbetes in tertulias, how I saw just one passiogram, this verbete, this entry, and it was amazing. But, so the people that don't understand Spanish, Portuguese, they are missing. And so it's an opportunity I see as a way of helping, like as really assistance, being able to help with pass on all this information that we have in Portuguese, now passing on in other languages. But also I would like to hear from you guys, what do you guys do it to maintain to be able to organize better?
I think for me it is also a question of motivation, because when I'm self-organized, I'm more motivated. When my organization is working well, I have a better workout. When I have a better workout, I feel better. So this is something that goes together. So I was looking to my motivation. How do I motivate myself with my organization? And then I come to the point of prioritization. And I think this prioritization, what you said, that when you have a focus of writing, for example, it is good to have a discipline. I tried by myself too, to write in the morning at 5 o'clock. But it's not every time working. So it's not easy to have a routine. To start a routine is very good, but it is more of my thoughts. In this case, what comes into my mind is, you said you are a Penta practitioner, and we have now the forum of Penta and many classes about it. And we were talking there about flexibility of being able to go in assistance. And in this point of view, I saw that I have to put out my ego point on the center and make assistance inside, and to see what is necessary. So when I come back now to the motivation and the prioritization, I have more the focus of assistance, and I focused myself on the Penta. And then I can see, is it important now to write on the article or book, or is it better to help the people with this or that? So to enter in the flow, in the cosmic flow of assistance, of inter-assistance, is something what I try to do. This is my way how to make it.
I try to have some rituals. For example, I go every day by train to my work, and I have to wait for the train maybe 5 or 10 minutes. So I try to do energy work in this waiting time. So this is a ritual for me now, to do this while waiting for the train. And the second one is that I try to focus more on the moment. So to focus on the moment, what I'm doing, and not the thoughts going everywhere to other planets or something like that. So for me, these two things are important to improve my self-organization.
I think it's also a possibility to start with small things. For example, there are very good seminars on self-organization on the internet. And but of course they prioritize the interphysical stuff. But I think for the beginning, this is a very good start, because I realized that I can really organize the flood of emails very much better, so that there is not too much stuff in my inbox, for example. So these are small things, but it really can develop more on the bigger scale. For example, to analyze, okay, what is it that takes my time, and what of that, what Eliane also said, could I cut? For example, already some years ago, I sold my TV, for example, because I thought it's just more or less lost time. Or I quit my Facebook account. I don't have a Facebook account anymore because it consumed so many hours in the week. So I thought, no. And to be honest, at some point you will recognize, at least this was my case, that so many things repeat and you're sharing the same stuff again and again. So at one point I thought, okay, it is a great thing to be in contact, but on the other hand, it takes so much time that I quit that. And so first step to analyze, okay, what is it that is really time consuming in my everyday life? And then to see, okay, the organization also has a lot to do with thinking about the pro-access per se, and to see what can I do to be more focused, because in conscientiology you can really do a lot of stuff. You can you can engage in a lot of great projects, because I think there's a lot of work to do, and a lot of things are really interesting, and a lot of things should be done in order to help other people. But really, to be honest, to with myself, and to see, okay, but what is really the focus, and what do I need to give my time for? I think this also has to do a lot with valuing ourselves, us as a person, and also giving priority and value to our own praxis. I think this is not to be mixed up with egoism, for example, and also learning to say, no, I could not engage in that. I need to focus myself on that, because I only have 24 hours per day, right? And I think this is one of the first steps that I did, but I think this is also something where I can really improve. I think self-organization is a huge topic, because if you do not only look at the interphysical scale, but of course on the extraphysical as well, it's really a huge topic.
Yes, and I agree what you said about the social media. I also noticed that because I'm studying, sometimes I'm studying the computer, and I decided to study with books, because on the computer you leave those things open, or just 5 minutes on Facebook, and then it's 1 hour. So I also cut it. I didn't cut it my account, but I not using so much computer, because then it's very easy to get distracted. And also to pay attention that I have a lot of things to do, but I just have 24 hours, so concentrating on the project of conscientiology.
And it is a question of energy, of course. We have energy suckers, which is Facebook, of course, is one of these. So people, I'm sorry, we are in the end of the second.
Could I talk a little minute or no?
Okay, we can, when it's a short idea you have, we can make it.
I just wanted to add that I think it's a part of a new style of life, of living, I think when people live a life with, I don't know, with a velocity, a lower velocity to do the things, I think the self-organization increases. I think it's more easy now, or it's easier to have a self-organization when you have a slow life here than when you have a busy life, in my experience.
To visualize it, that's true. Yes. So, thank you guys. Thank you, Carla, for your experience shared with us and your presentation. We come now to the general debate, and I want to open the general debate to give the microphone to Jeffrey. He wants to talk about the journal Reconsciencia in English edition. Can you share your experience, your ideas about that project, Jeff?
Yeah, Jörn, thanks very much. So guys, I just want to let you know that there's an opportunity for us all to submit articles in English to what's the oldest journal in conscientiology, I think, which is Reconsciencia. So we're planning to have an English edition of that, hopefully ready by like mid-year next year. So I'll paste into a link, and maybe I can ask Paolo and the Bridge team to send you the link to the call for papers. And so it's a good opportunity for everyone who wants to write in English to express your ideas, and the more articles we have, the better, because then we can have more editions of the journal in English and so on as well. And not tied to it, but connected to that effort. For the next 6 months, we're making a really big effort, or even more, 8 months, to form and hold and host here in Cognopolis in Brazil 10 days of activities, all in English. So not translated from somebody, but direct from the teachers' mouths in English, from a range of different institutions, so a range of different courses. We're trying to have different courses every day. You guys can do laboratories and dynamics, in addition to the courses, of course. So that's something we've been calling it until now like International Week, which is just a generic term we were just used to describe it. And the dates for that are confirmed. It's 25 August to 3 September. And so again, 25 August until the 3rd of September. And there's going to be a heap of activities from a range of different ICs. So it's not just one IC. We're getting as many ICs, organizations involved as we can. And it's looking like there's going to be 10 or 11 different organizations offering a range of different things. So I think it goes a lot for us who speak English natively or speak English as a second language very well. And also for Brazilians in Brazil who want to learn English, there's a good opportunity to do like an immersion pretty much in Brazil in English over those 10 days. So guys, I hope that's good information for you. We might be calling it Activate 2017, you know, we might change the name of International Week to Activate, something like that, because we activate our synapses, we activate our networks, we activate our extra-physical team. The idea is we activate all sorts of things with this event. So just to let you know that that's coming. So thank you very much for the time, guys.
Very good projects, Jeff. So everyone who wants to share or to have ideas for it, contact Jeff, and let's go ahead. And once more, the time for International Week is the 25th of August to the 3rd of September next year, 2017. So people who want to visit here the campus, it's a good time to come here because many people from elsewhere will come, and we can deepen our friendships. I think this is energetically also a very important step to have this week here in the center of CAEC, in the center of conscientiology, to spread the connections, energetically connections out of the world. So when you have an idea or when you think of visiting FOSS one day, it's a good idea to come in this time, I think, to think about this. Another point is...
Sorry, Jörn, you prompted me to remember one thing I think is important to add. We're doing it first in FOSS, but obviously in the future we would like to do this overseas. So 2018 somewhere overseas, maybe 2019 back in FARS, 2020 somewhere overseas. This is the idea. As to whether we manage to do that, we'll see. It obviously just requires coordination between and willingness between people and groups and stuff. So not only about Brazil and only about English, we'd like it to be in other languages as well at other times, just to leave that clear. Thank you again.
Very good, Jeff. Thank you. Another point here in our group is that at the first meetings, everyone has a possibility to introduce himself. So when someone is new in this group, I want to give now the time that for a short introduction. If someone has not made the introduction and like to make it, just open the microphone and say, for example, who you are, where you live, and make a short introduction. Is someone new? Please open the microphone.
Yeah.
Marcelo, we don't hear you. You have to open the microphone.
The microphone opening is on the right side.
Okay.
Audio. Yeah.
Can you listen me? Yeah. Okay. My name is my name is Yatra. I'm living in Switzerland. I was made in Brazil, but I live in Switzerland this moment. And I'm I knew conscientology for 6 years ago, but just this year I started to and immerse in this knowledge. I'm now voluntary. I invited from Eliane to translate for the Italian language, the neologisms. Sorry, and it's all, I think.
Thank you, Yatra. Nice to see you here also, or not only in FOSS. We have met here the last time. And is there someone else who has a possibility, or is there some problems with the technique? Doesn't mind, relax. It's the next time we will have time again, and we can explain how does it work with the audio. Audio is on the right side, audio on, and then you have to click there. When it doesn't function, maybe you have a problem with your computer system connected to your microphone. Doesn't matter, the next time we will make it. So keep cool. Okay. Well, now we come to the general debate. Arthur, are there some news about activities, international activities, or some ideas to share? Have someone some new things to talk about, or something which is important to share with the group? Please feel free to speak in the microphone.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Words,
yeah.
Marcelo.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is Marcelo Rouanet. I live in Vila Velha, Brazil. It's in the state of Espírito Santo. I am a volunteer with the Arace Association in Espírito Santo, and I am a researcher from the invisible colleges of cosmoethics and parapoliticology.
Very good, Marcelo. Thank you for your introduction. Very welcome in our group.
Thank you.
Obrigado. All right. So, when no one has to say something, we will come to our energetic word now. And for the energetic word, please have a double check that the microphones are off and sit comfortable in your chair to have a focus on the energetically work. Let's have a brief with intense, I'm Portuguese, and relax your body, all your muscles, relax your thoughts, and focus on the energetic work. Start feeling your energosoma and the energies. Get deeper in the sensation of your energetic vehicle, your energosoma. Bring now the energies up to the top of your head, to the crown chakra. Gather a lot of energy in the top of your head at the crown chakra. From up to now, make a movement of these energies of the cycle to bring the energies down to the feet and up to the head again. And start now in your own rhythm, the circle of energies, feet, head, head, feet. Accelerate slowly the velocization of the speed of the energies. Until you reach the vibrational state. Accelerate more the energy and install the vibrational state. Hold the maximum of vibration. A little bit more. Pass now to exteriorize the energies to all chakras. Exteriorization in all your room. Expand the exteriorization to your city. To your country. And all over the planet. Slowly come now to the inversion and absorb the energies. Absorb now the energies inside your energosoma. From all sides. Slowly come now to the point of stopping the movement and feel your energosoma. Observe what has changed. Come now back to your physical body, to your soma. Make little movements. Open your eyes and be awake. Is everyone fine? You can open the microphones. Some comments? Do you have something? Do you want to share with the group? Feel free to open the microphone and to speak. Okay. There's an information in the chat about Arashi. Thank you, Jeff. And Paulo, do you know when the next meeting will be, or do you write to the people an email to invite them?
We still don't have a date, but we will come back next year. And so now we would like to thank you all for participating in this project, for supporting this group. And if you have any suggestion to improve this program, please let us know. And we'd like to wish you a great Happy New Year. And I'm pasting in our chat our email. So if you want to join us and to receive our next invitations, just send an email to us, okay? This is our email, thebridgecons@gmail.com.
Thank you, Paulo. Thank you for being here and for all people participating in this group. It was a pleasure for me to be a monitor today, and we see us next year. So, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Jörn. Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Ciao.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, people. Can I have is Crystal online? Is Crystal over there? She has left already. Okay. Okay, I speak to her later on. Bye, people. Thanks for watching us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for everything.
Thank you.